Welcome back to the Clicksuasion podcast. This is Michael Barbera for Behavioral Science News, Clicksuasion Labs, Pinehurst, North Carolina. Biannually, Clicksuasion Labs hosts a live event and records it for the Clicksuasion podcast. On Tuesday, November 19th, 2019, Clicksuasion Labs, in partnership with B&B Strategic Partners, DJ McSweeney, Ellis Design Group, Neptune Merch, Story Focus Media, and Golden Corral, hosted Are You Marketing by Accident? The Accidental Marketing Panel, live from Pinehurst, North Carolina. This recording was recorded on site at Delta Financial in Pinehurst, North Carolina, with 5 amazing panelists, plus 1 amazing moderator. Listen in, Accidental Marketing. Enjoy.
Why is the shopping cart always in the top right of the screen?
How do companies predict my purchases?
And why do prices end in 9?
Why do fast food companies use red and yellow in their logos?
Why do restaurants always have one expensive menu item?
Researchers, marketers, and very curious people seek the answers for how we make decisions and how we choose products. Clicksuasion finds the secrets that companies use and shares them with you.
Why do I feel better when I bought the last remaining airline ticket?
How do I make choices based on colors and fonts?
All right, so now let me tell you a little bit about how this started and give thanks where thanks is due. So we do want to give a shout out to Delta Financial for allowing us to use their space, and to Matt at Golden Corral. If you've not been to Golden Corral in the past couple of years, he's done a phenomenal job cleaning things up. And if you have guests coming in for the holidays or holiday parties coming up, thinking about his catering. Always good food, always more than you can eat, and always a great price. So Matt at Golden Corral, we want to say thank you very much. And then my name is Janet Galloway, and I am from B&B Strategic Partners. This was kind of my brainchild, and let me explain to you why. Over the past year, I've put together a lot of events, and I wanted to do them with other business owners. This is why. I can bring half the people, you can bring half the people. I get introductions to your people, you get introductions to my people, and in addition to that, we get to educate the public about what we do. Every time I sat down with another business owner, I kept having the exact same conversation, and this is how it would go. All right, we have this great event. This is our title for the event. Now, who are we going to market to? Who's our target market? And I would hear silence. And I'm like, okay, all right. What problem do you solve? And these professionals would talk about the problems that they solve from their professional dialogue. For instance, I'm a financial advisor. One of the problems I solve is making sure people are taking the correct risk in their portfolios so that they can retire when they want to retire. Now, are you going out with your girlfriends drinking wine and saying, I'm not sure if my portfolio is an appropriate risk? No. My clients are saying, I want to retire, I don't know how, do you know somebody who can help me? So I kept having to have the same conversation with how do you target your clients with the problem that you solve in their words. But the problem is, I'm not a marketing expert. The people here today are marketing experts. I've learned a lot from them, and I'm excited that they are here to give their time today. So we're going to go ahead and introduce each panel member and give them the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about what they do. I'm going to start in the order that I've used them and plan to use them, quite frankly. So we're going to start with Michael Barbera. He was the first person I came to, and this is why. I was trying to figure out who my target market was. Where are they going to hang out? How am I going to find them? What do they like to do? So Michael created my avatar. Give it up for Michael.
Everyone has a white clicker in front of them with a brown power button. Go ahead and click on that brown power button, and you should see a green light. So what do we do when we get a new piece of equipment? We test it. Let's go ahead to the test screen. So we're going to play a game called 4 Truths and a Lie. One of these items is a lie about me. Which one is the lie? Is it A, I was arrested in college for, which one is the truth? Was I arrested in college for streaking? Was I pulled over on the way to this event?
Did I C, ride a motorcycle to the Arctic Circle? Did I D, win $12,394 in Jeopardy? Or E, did I drive the pace car during a NASCAR race? Which one is the truth about me? Which one is the truth? A through E. Right now you are judging me. What did this guy really do? Is he a fast driver? Did he get in trouble with the police today? Let's see. So the survey says most people say C, rode a motorcycle to the Arctic Circle, followed by E, drove a pace car during a NASCAR race. This is the very first time that the majority of people have got it right. I rode a motorcycle to the Arctic Circle. That is the correct answer. But what happened here is you judged me. You took a look at me and said, you judged my entire life based upon 30 seconds of me speaking and asked me to make a choice. So let's see how we judge consumer decisions. All right, you've had a really long day, you got some good rest. Now it's time to get up and get your day started. And in front of you on that kitchen table is a pile of mail from the day before. Ooh, which mail item am I going to open first? Do I open up A, the item from the U.S. Postal Service, B, the item from the USPS, C, FedEx, or D, DHL? Which item of mail do you open first? Choose your option, A through D. Let's see, what is your choice? Most people choose C, significantly, with 46% of people here saying, I'm going to choose FedEx. Why did we choose FedEx first? What's so awesome about FedEx? Does it cost more than the U.S. Postal Service? Does it cost less? Well, one, we assume it costs more, so it's like, you know what? Someone spent their time and energy to go to FedEx and send this package. So it must be more important. There's a color combination of orange and purple, two colors that don't traditionally go well together on the color palette, so it stands out. So FedEx says it's more important. So if you need to send something to a consumer or a client, what do you want to send it? FedEx, of course, because most of us here want to say, we're going to open the FedEx first. Let's look at some more decisions. All right, you now have to talk to somebody in customer service. Oh, you're dreading customer service call. I have to call them today, so I get on the phone and say, hello, customer service. Hi, welcome to Acme Incorporated Customer Service. How can I help you today? This person answers the phone. On a scale of A through E, miserable through ecstatic, how happy are you to talk to this person? On a scale of A through E, miserable to ecstatic, how happy are you to talk to this person? Welcome to Acme Incorporated Customer Service. How can I help you today? Most people choose C through D, so the scale skews towards the more ecstatic side. Okay, we're kind of happy. We're not fully ecstatic. We're like, okay, I can tolerate this. This is going to be an okay call. Now the person says, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not the person that can help you with that. I have to connect you to Tom over in this department. Now how happy are you to talk to this person? A through E, miserable to ecstatic. Oh, I'm not the person that can help you with that. Let me connect you to Tom in this other department. And it significantly skews towards miserable. 70% of people say, you know what, this is not going to be a fun phone call. And now you finally get connected with Tom. Tom says, welcome to Acme, this is what I can do for you. And the phone disconnects and you go, Tom, you there? Hello? Now how happy are you? A through E, ecstatic through miserable. How happy are you? Tom, you there? Hello? Hello? How do we feel? 89% say A, they're the most miserable you can possibly be on this scale. So how does that change our perception of this business? So what happens is, how likely are you to buy something from this company? A, unlikely through E, likely. How likely are you to purchase something from this company after that customer service experience? And we see most people skew towards A and B, unlikely, with a total of 18 people, with almost 80% of people towards the bottom end of the scale and miserable. So these things kind of affect our perceptions of the business and how likely are we to spend our money with them. So let's say you've been researching a phenomenal TV to buy. You've done your Google reviews, you've done your due diligence, like, yeah, that's the TV that I want. So you finally get up and you go to Best Buy. And you walk into Best Buy and there it is. There's a 60-inch 4K television on the screen. That's the one I want to get. The salesperson says, welcome to Best Buy. What can I do for you? I want to get that TV. Ooh, you made an excellent choice. Ooh, I'm a smart customer. I made an excellent choice. All right. But I have to be honest with you. If you go to the Best Buy that's 5 miles away, you can get that same $1,000 TV for $980, $20 off. So, who is driving 5 miles to save $20 on a $1,000 TV? Who's driving 5 miles to save $20 on a $1,000 TV? Most people are going to say, absolutely not. We've got 75% of people who are saying, I'm going to stay right where I am and just spend $1,000. Not a big deal. Okay, so now 2 weeks go by, and you're thinking, I really want this amazing DVD player to augment my television experience. So you do your Google reviews, you talk to your friends, and you finally find the DVD player that you want to buy for your home. You go back to Best Buy, and there it is. The salesperson says, welcome back. What can I do for you? I want that DVD player. Excellent choice. Ooh, again, I'm a smart customer. All right. So the salesperson says, but I have to be honest with you, if you go to the Best Buy that's 5 miles away, that $40 DVD player is $20 off for $20 total. Now, how likely are you driving 5 miles to save $20 on a $4 DVD player? And most people, 85% say, yeah, you know, I'm going to try. Why? $20 is $20 no matter which way you absolutely split it. You still have to work the same amount of hours to earn that $20. But the value of that $20 to you changes significantly, not based upon how much you worked, but the price of the item that you're buying. So I have one more example to share with you, and that is our favorite. Who likes to drink wine? Right, absolutely right. Like, oh, I've had a really rough day. I had to listen to Michael Barbera talk for 5 minutes. That's it. I need a bottle of wine for this. So you leave here and you go to your favorite grocery store, and there's 2 bottles of wine on the shelf. One costs $9 and one costs $19. Which one do you buy for yourself? The $9 or the $19? So A or B, $9 or $19. Which one do you buy for yourself? Rough day. Mike just annoyed me all day today. I had to put up with him at lunch. Which one am I going to buy? And I'm going to buy the $9 for myself. So 81% of people say, I'm going to buy the $9 bottle of wine for myself. Okay, now let's say, which one are you going to buy to go to a friend's house for dinner? Now which one are you going to buy? A or B? The $9 or the $19? You go to a friend's house for dinner, which bottle of wine do you buy? Survey says 69%, now I'm going to buy the $19 bottle of wine because we don't want to seem like a cheap friend. So it's the perception of the environment of how we engage with our products and services changes the value of what they're worth to us. All right, so now we are at the store and there's 3 bottles of wine on the shelf. They cost $9, $19, and $99. Which one are you going to buy for yourself? A, B, or C? Which one are you going to buy for yourself? Most people still choose A at 58%. So this is a self-reported study. So if this study isn't happening, more than likely what you would say is, oh, you know what? In a micro moment, in a cognitive processing decision, you're going to say, 99, that's kind of ridiculous. 19, I can afford that. That's reasonable. So the customer gets anchored into choosing the $19 bottle of wine when they would have traditionally purchased the $9. This is consumer psychology. A lot of variables are involved in how your consumers make decisions. I appreciate your time. You have been amazing. Where is Janet hiding?
Thank you, Michael. Isn't he awesome?
Yes, yeah.
So the next person I'm going to introduce you to is Donna Ellis. When I started my company, I was trying to figure out how to brand myself and what logo to use. Now I know I love the beach, and I deal with a lot of people either working towards retirement or already retired. The beach is a great place, right?
Yes.
So I had to figure out something that was similar to the beach, but you don't really think about a financial advisor and a beach. It doesn't quite go together. So the logo that we created was just blue lines and fading. So it represents the beach to me. And then we had to come up with a tagline. So how do we differentiate ourselves from everybody else? Because we all look the same. Come on, we just do. When you look at a financial advisor, you think, okay, I know what they do. Well, working with Donna, it helped me simplify the words to use to get my message across. So what we do at B&B Strategic Partners, we simplify your financial life into one page. We coordinate with your other financial professionals, your CPAs, your attorneys, to help you achieve your financial goals. So simplify, coordinate, achieve. Those were the key words in that tagline, that whole spiel, and Donna helped me create that. So please welcome Donna Ellis.
All right, so now I feel like I have a really hard act to follow. So I'm just going to step back a little bit and tell you just a little bit about me. I always wanted to be an artist. Love to draw horses. I'm a horse person, so it all kind of tied together. Went to high school and had a teacher there who was teaching art, and she said, why did you think about advertising design? And I said, that sounds really cool. And she was awesome because she kept pushing me in that direction and giving me separate projects to help my brain expand a little bit more. And then I went to the guidance counselor with my mother, and the guidance counselor said, you're gonna let your daughter be like the lady up in the attic doing paintings? How's she gonna make any money? And my mom, God bless her soul, said, excuse me, who designed the label on this bottle of water? And I was like, holy mackerel, Mom's got it. So with that said, I went to Moore College of Art in Philadelphia, and I graduated with a BFA in advertising design, and thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to be a designer, everything's going to be great, hunky-dory. Got my first job working in a life insurance company. What is an advertising designer doing in a life insurance company? Anybody take a guess? Designing life insurance policies. Oh, wow, super fun, right? Yeah, well, after about 6 months, I was like, yeah, enough of this stuff, and I went to work for a small design studio and found out what it's like to run your own small business. And in particular, found things that you shouldn't do when you're running your own business. So then I ended up deciding, okay, time to have children, grow up, be a parent. Went to work for the Franklin Mint. How many people have not heard of the Franklin Mint? Okay, most of the young people here. So the Franklin Mint was pretty big back in the 80s, late 70s, 80s, 90s, and what they did is they decided to do collector coins. And that was their big foray into the direct mail, direct response business. That turned into a whole collectibles company, and they sold everything from chess sets to model cars to dolls to plates, and they built a huge, I don't even know how much money, probably a multi-million-dollar business out of it. And I went to work for them as a designer and eventually became a creative director there. And I like to say that I really got my education at the Franklin Mint because they were, at the time, considered the best of the best in the direct mail industry. What it taught me is that it can't be art for art's sake. There's plenty of designers out there who are just trying to design that piece that's going to win all kinds of awards and look as best as it can possibly be. But guess what? That may not sell the product. The Franklin Mint was probably one of the pioneers of collecting data. So as they were doing their direct response, they were learning all about that person and their buying habits and their shopping habits, exactly what Mike was just talking about. So when a designer would come along and say, okay, we're going to design a chess set and it's about Civil War and it's going to have these chess pieces that are all Civil War pieces, whatever. They had data from past things that they had done and research they had done, and they knew exactly who their target audience was, how much money they were going to be willing to spend, and how to just pull on that heartstring and make them want to purchase that piece of that collectible. And so from there, then they gathered more data. And I remember working at the Mint, we had a bronze sculpture, and they actually created it as, it wasn't a pure bronze, close to, anyway, I'm getting off topic here. They couldn't decide on the price point for it. So they did what back in the day they still call it like an A/B test split, where you'll take the same product and you'll change something up about that product, whether it's in the content or the pricing, go against another one. They actually did a three-way split on that. They promoted it with slightly different text, but the main difference was the pricing on it. Which one do you think won? The lower, the middle, or the higher price?
Middle.
The higher one. And it was all because people's perceptions were, well, if it's this much money, then it must be real. And that really told the Franklin Mint a lot. So taking all of this information, as I'm trying to design these pieces, which were sent in the mail, they had no stores back then. You had to make it look as best and as real as it possibly would be. And you had to tell the story so that person would totally buy into this whole thing. So yeah, was I like, whatever. What it all boils down to is that I learned how important the marketing aspect is in advertising. And so what you'll see as we go forward in today, some of the questions that we'll be presenting to you will sort of help you understand a little bit better why it's so important to be super organized, have a plan, understand who your audience is. Just as Michael was saying, if you know that information, then whatever campaign that you do is going to be probably more successful. So, thanks, Jan.
Thank you, John. All right, so now you've passed the pop quiz with Michael, and now you know that from Donna, they're collecting data on you, so we'll be a little bit careful. So when as I was creating my business, I went to Donna to create the logo. Now I have this beautiful logo, what do I do with it? Oh my gosh, an event is coming up at the Senior Enrichment Center and I can have a table for some of my target audience. Oh my goodness, the Chamber of Commerce is having a golf tournament. I can provide the bags. Where do I go? Who do I call? I need cards, I need pens, I need something that people are gonna hold in their hands. So now I'm happy to introduce you to my promo queen, Lisa Morella.
Okay, well, let me just begin. Yes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself because I feel like it's really important that people know who I am, because my clients work with me because they know who I am. I'm originally from Arkansas. I married at a young age and became a military spouse and started traveling the world with my husband. Became a mother, and that became a priority. One thing that a lot of people don't know about, back when AT&T started with the big block phones and the phones that got inserted into your vehicles, I was their sales rep. The minute somebody came to me and asked me to become a sales rep to do those kind of things, I thought, there's no way in heck I'm gonna do this. The reason why I didn't feel like I was a salesperson, and I'm not a salesperson. I am not your traditional salesperson, but what I knew I was good at was working with people. So I took the challenge. They gave me a bigger challenge. I sold the first cell phone that was the flip phone. Does anybody remember when that came out? I'm kind of aging myself a little bit here. But that's when I knew I loved what I was doing. I was able to meet with people, meet with new potential clients, but yet friends. I made so many friends in that as a military spouse, when you are moving every 2 years, it's really difficult to keep changing your lifestyle. And there's a few years after that, became an opportunity to where, I wouldn't say an opportunity, I was pregnant with my third child. Health overruled my work. So at that point, decided to become a stay-at-home mom. I did that for 16 years. Not only did I do that, but I gave up, doing the sales thing, but became working with military families. So once again, I stayed in the part of what I loved, and that was working with people. Did that for 16 years. During that time, had my fourth child. I'm a mother of 4. I have 3 grandchildren right now. My oldest is 33 years old, and she is married with 3 grandchildren. And of course, we have our son who lives in Colorado, married, no children, a daughter in college, and then our 17-year-old we still have at home raising. So let's move forward to moving here. Our son at that time, 4.5 years ago, was coming into those preteen years. I knew that I wanted to do something, didn't know what that was, and an opportunity came knocking at my door. And when that opportunity came knocking at my door, once again, I said to myself, I knew nothing about the promo world. I knew nothing about the print world. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. So decided to take the challenge, jump into it. I worked from 6 a.m. till midnight every single day, learning every aspect of this business in the promotional world. Didn't do the print side yet, but really wanted to learn what it was about. Oh my gosh, the challenges that come with that, I can only imagine as a person doing this job, what it might be for you guys looking for things that you need for your businesses. And that could be anything from your signage to your having a convention coming up and you need something to get your name out there just to hand out. Who doesn't love free stuff? Everybody loves free stuff. But it wasn't about the sales for me, once again. It was about the connections with the people I was making as my clients were now reaching out to me, telling others about me, and it just blossomed from there. Recently became more of, that's where the promo queen came in. That name was given to me about 2.5 years ago by a group that I am in network with, and it kind of stuck. I do have a license plate that says it. It's in my office. I'm waiting to make that a DMV thing. But moving forward to today, here I am. Everybody needs this. Everybody needs advertisement for their business. Even if you're not handing it out, you need print. Everybody's doing print in your offices. I'm not sure who you're going through, but if you don't know what you're looking for, if there are a million different paper stocks out there, You know, there's a million different products out there. And one pen, let's just say you want a pen. Do you realize there's about 99,000 different types of pens? 99, that's a lot of pens for you to go searching for the one that you want. But I become such a pro, somebody actually will send me a picture and I know exactly where to go find that pen. That's how good I became at what I do now. So when my clients reach out to me, they trust me that I'm gonna go and find what they need and make it look great for them to make their businesses look great. So, thank you.
So if you hate shopping like I do, she's a great resource. So the next person, so as I created my business, I now have my logo, I have some things to put in people's hands. Now I have to tell the world who I am and what I do and what makes me different. The problem is that's not my core strength. My core strength is technical analysis and financials and all the great things that I get to deal with every day. I'm not a story writer. So that's how Diane came into my life. She is great at telling your story. But is it your story, my words? Your tagline?
My words.
Yes. Our story, Diane's words. Diane McSweeney.
So I have a story to tell. No surprise there. I'm a golfer, and on the golf course I went to a clinic a few years ago, and who did I meet but Janet? Janet's a golfer, you may not all know that. And she's a financial planner, and I just spent 20 years producing prospectuses and shareholder reports that she handles every day of her life. So instant synergy. So with that being said, I'm from Boston, and I have spent over 50 years in the printing and publishing business. I started in a small family-owned printing business when I was 10 years old, and worked my way through to eventually working for the largest printing company in the world, R.R. Donnelley. I obtained a couple of degrees in printing and in business in between. And as I mentioned, the most recent 20 years, I worked in an in-house agency for a financial service company producing prospectuses and shareholder reports. Recently, I expanded into freelance writing last few years, and I love it. It's fun telling the story and helping you express your story for your business. And with that said, I have a few points about writing that I'd like to share that's important for copywriting. The first is you need to target your audience. And you'll hear us talk about who and how to find your target audience. But once you do, speak to them. And if you're a lawyer, you can use all the legalese you want if you're selling to lawyers. But if you're selling to the general public, you need to speak to the general public. Lose the legalese, plain English. The second point is be concise, effective, and honest. And you can say important things in just a few words. I have one quick example for you. It is a very rare event. It is the rarest of events. You like the second one better. It feels better, doesn't it? It's more poetic. That's what I like to think. My third point is you want to evoke emotion. At the end of the day, you can spew all the facts, you can tell people how beautiful your product is, but at the end of the day, if you touch their heart or even make them angry, they will remember that. That's what they're going to take away and remember. I have an example that I will share. It's attributed to Ernest Hemingway. It's an advertisement for sale. Baby shoes, never worn. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. For those of you who don't know what a prospectus is, it's that like 30-page packet you get every time you invest in something that's in your mail, and it generally ends up in the trash can with a lot of legalese. So, so you can appreciate the transition from the technical writing that she used to do to the story writing and the importance of every single word you use to describe the service that you provide and the problem that you fix with what you do. So the next one I'm going to introduce, I haven't used him yet. He's on our calendar for next year. I've seen his work and it's excellent. And I've seen some of the videos that he's created and the stories that he tells, because much to Diane's point, people don't buy a product. They buy you. They want to do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And how do you tell that story without going to a bunch of networking events and making sure you talk to everybody face to face and then remember them the next time you run into them 6 months later? You talk to somebody who can actually help you tell your story. Your story is a good one. You start a business for a reason. You were passionate about something. What was that something? Again, you're not necessarily good at selling yourself, but you're good at what you do. So stay good and stay focused on what it is you're good at and you do, and hire others who have their strengths. So John Vaughn, he's Mr. Storyteller.
How many of you have kids? What's the kid situation here? All right, about half maybe. So imagine you're tucking your kid into bed. You got him in there, got the covers pulled up. He or she looks up at you and says, Dad, Mom, your phone's going off. He looks up at you and he says, Dad or Mom, he says, tell me about your favorite statistic. They don't say that, do they? What do they say? What do they say? Tell me a story, okay? And that's because stories are powerful. Stories grip, right? We remember stories. And it doesn't change when we get older, right? We still want to go to the movies. We still want to read books. We still remember the stories we're told. And so I spent about 15 years in the insurance industry. And though it's a great industry, got a couple of insurance agents here, it wasn't very fulfilling for me, okay? Like, at the end of the day, I was still talking about insurance. And I'm a creative guy. I wanted to tell stories. So I was like, how can I tell stories, which is a really creative endeavor, and be in the business world at the same time? Like, those two things really don't seem to go together. So I created a business. I was like, all right, well, I can't find a job that fits that criteria. I'll just make up one. And so I created a story-focused media. So I created a story-focused media. And so basically the idea behind story-focused media is just as those stories that we connect with on a creative level, I thought, well, businesses have those stories as well. You know, businesses have a story to tell. And if you can tell your story, you will connect with your customers. And if you can create that connection, they will come to you as opposed to your competitor. They will pay more money. If you can tell your story effectively, you can charge more because the perceived value will be more. Which is better, Mac or PC? Yeah, okay, I'll be honest with you, it depends on who's using it, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it depends on the story you've told yourself about that software, right? What's a company that tells such a good story that they've convinced people to tattoo their brand onto their body? Apple. And what else? There's another one. Harley Davidson, right? Harley Davidson is a freaking awesome motorcycle that I'm going to brand it on my arm. It's so awesome. That's such a cool story. Is Harley Davidson the best motorcycle? No. Indian was the best motorcycle. I don't know if you guys know what Indian was. They went out of business of coming up. Guys will tell you Indians were the best motorcycle. They didn't tell the best story. Harley has told the best story and has thrived. And so that is kind of the whole idea behind Story Focused Media. I do video. I create videos to help businesses tell their story, but really, it's about the story. You can do it in any medium. You know, you can do it written, you can do it talking, but it's just all about telling that story. And at the end of the day, I want to connect with people, and I want businesses to connect with people. And that's what Story Focused Media is all about. And I hope you guys can learn about how you can tell your story. And it can be a story about yourself. If you don't want to talk about yourself, you're like, well, I work for this business. It's not really my story, it's the business's story. We can tell the story of the business. Or it can be about the product. Maybe it's something about your product that, hey, we get this product from Africa, we bring it in, we do this, our workers do this. What we can tell us, you can tell a story about anything you want. It doesn't have to be about you necessarily. It can be about anything. I was going to do this later in my questions, but I was in Columbia store the other day,
and I was checking out, and I saw this on a bag, and I'm holding up this bag here, I don't know if you can see it. On it, it says, my story. So I immediately grabbed it and read it, and it says, my story. It says, I'm made in the U.S. out of 75% recycled plastic, including all of the polybag material from Columbia Sportswear Distribution Center. That means I'm lean, green, and ready to be recycled again. They literally told you like a piece of information I would have never paid attention to just by labeling it my story. So it can even be just information that you want to pass on to your customers. It's not selling, they're not selling me anything here, but they are, right? They're telling me about the brand, they're telling me about the story of Columbia, they're telling me they care. At least that's the story they want to tell. And you can do the same thing. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be very little bit of information. So that's all I have to say, and we'll move on.
All right, John inspired me to tell you all a story. Are you ready? So you're driving to work one day, you get in the car, it's all warm because it's cold outside, you're driving down the road, all of a sudden, boom, 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 your car stops. You pull over the side of the road. And let me ask you a question. Would you rather be on a busy highway or an empty stretch of road? Think about that. Which one would you rather be on? Think about how many cars you've seen on the side of the road driving past on the busy highway. What's the probability one of those people's going to stop? Ah, somebody else, I got to get to work. Oh, somebody else, I got to take care of the kids. Oh, somebody else. Now, you're on that empty stretch of road. Nobody's coming by. You see one car. One car notices that other car broken down. What's the probability that one car is going to stop? It's a higher probability. I like to believe that we're nice human beings and we try to do right by people. It's a higher probability if you have one person on a deserted road coming up on a car that is empty or one person standing next to it than if you break down on a busy, busy highway. Your marketing message, do you want to be that car with people passing you by? Or do you want to be that car with people wanting to stop and help you? So with that message and that story, I'm going to invite the panel to come back up and I'm going to ask them some questions. Again, if you have questions or anything that they said sparked a question, we'll give you the opportunity to ask them as well. All right, we're going to put Michael Barbera in the hot seat first. You ready? All right. I believe the technical name of your field is behavioral economics. Could you explain behavioral economics?
Behavioral economics is a fancy way of saying that microeconomics and applied psychology got together and had some babies. So what it is, it's behaviors, barriers, and benefits. So the benefits, we like to be entertained, we like to have a good time, we appreciate value. The behavior is we like to go to our favorite social media platform and scroll until we're entertained. The barrier is the content itself. It could be your friend's content or it could be a business's content. Let's use two scenarios, A and B. Scenario A, you're scrolling down your favorite social media platform and you come across a video and it automatically plays. More than likely you're going to stop, okay, I'm going to watch this video. It's entertaining. In scenario B, you're scrolling, it doesn't automatically play, but it has that little arrow play button. And that little barrier of tapping the play button on the screen, that half-inch, quarter-inch barrier will prevent your customers from engaging with your content, or people engaging with content in general doesn't be customers. So it's behaviors, barriers, and benefits. How do we get past all three?
Behaviors, barriers, and benefits, and babies. Okay.
Babies, yeah.
This is good. Glad mine are grown.
Seriously.
All right. So now the next question is for Donna Ellis. Why should I get a professional for my marketing needs?
Okay, so the most simple thing to say is you probably don't know what you don't know. So think about that. It's really easy in today's society because of social media and all the different marketing platforms out there to hop on your computer and try to create something. But have you really thought through all the details? As Michael was saying, what's your consumer's behavior? What are their needs? What are their fears, their wants and desires? These are all really important aspects that you should employ in your marketing. So the idea is that if you are hiring a professional, they should be doing the research, finding out who your target audience is and getting all this information together. And a lot of times when you're so close to it because it's your business, you tend to overlook that. So that's why hiring a professional to come in can really help you drill down and get to the crux of the important information that you need, not only to make it successful, but to make it worth your while from a financial perspective.
Thank you, Donna. So when it's your baby, it's hard to understand and articulate what did you say? It was the needs?
Needs, fears, wants, and desires.
Very good. Thank you.
Janet, can I just add to that?
Absolutely.
The whole name of this whatever class we're doing here today, panel, was marketing by accident. And that's what kind of we find that most businesses do is they market by accident. They have an idea, they start a business, 6 months of business, year into the business, they start seeing these needs that they have, and then they start trying to fill these holes, and they piece together a marketing plan, which is why we came up with this thing called marketing by accident. Whereas if you go and talk to someone like Donna, who's got this plan and knows the questions to ask, she can put you just miles ahead where you would have been, because she knows those questions that she just talked about those specific things. And so that whole idea of marketing by accident, we find that it happens to a lot of people.
Good point, John.
And you can find this event on social media by #ACCMarketing. All right, the next question is going to Lisa Morella. How do promotional branded materials help my business?
Well, first off, getting your name recognition out there is the number one thing when you're trying to promote your business. I always looking over some statistics between what's 4 of the top name businesses that you can think of that have done an amazing job, that no matter, even if they didn't have their name on it, you can say, I know that business. You've got Coca-Cola, established almost 25 years ago. The only time they changed their logo was twice. It did not work. It failed. And then they came back to it. Nike. If you didn't have the name Nike but you saw the swoosh, you knew it was Nike. Amazon is another one. Apple. If you didn't have the Apple symbol. They've taken a brand and they branded it everywhere, from signage to giveaway. Let's go back to Coke. How many things is Coke branded with its name on? Nike, all of that. The importance of first finding the logo that stands with your business that you can relate to, then you just put it everywhere. You hand it to everybody. Anytime, anywhere, you can get that out there. And it really doesn't have to cost a lot of money to do this. You can find ways to do this, and that's where I come in, because I have access to so many different avenues with so many different vendors that I work with to help brand your business to get your name out there in the best way. Branded materials is the quickest way to get your name across in a lot of different avenues.
Thank you, Lisa. I will tell you, my daughter's birthday is the same day as mine, which was last week. And I bought her gift, and then I was like, okay, I can put this in a gift bag, or I can put it in something that she's actually going to use again. And I had a cooler from a golf tournament I had gone to, and so I put her gift in a cooler. It was a branded item promoting the nonprofit that the golf tournament was for, but she's going to use that again. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, good way to expand it.
So, John, this one's at you. So how will telling my story help with pricing concerns?
All right, so I like this question because depending on the type of person, when you talk about story, sometimes they think it's kind of fluff, like that's nice. That doesn't really help me sell my product. It doesn't create revenue. And so I like to share a story using this harmonica. This harmonica is a pre-1950s, and I think I'm saying this right, M. Horner harmonica, made in Germany. It's a 10-hole. It's called blues harp. It's tuned to G. Those are all the facts. And you can get it on eBay for like less than $40 all day long. So that's the facts, and that's the price. Now, what if I told you that this harmonica was my grandmother's, and that she used to play this? In fact, when she was a kid, she grew up in a very strict household, and she wasn't allowed to sing or dance or play music in the house. So she would sneak out to the outhouse and basically play in the outhouse. And then she got in trouble out there. And she told me that story. I'd never heard that story before. I was like, wow, Grandma, I didn't know you could play the harmonica. So she went and got this very harmonica, and she played it. And it was the first and only time I'd ever heard her play this harmonica. And then she passed away, literally like 3 weeks later after I heard that. And so now, what would you think the value of this harmonica is?
Priceless.
So when I tell you that the story you tell literally changes the value of your business and or your product. So it's not fluff. It literally can change the value of what you sell. So to answer your question, the story you tell literally can change the value.
Can I add something to that?
Please.
When I first came into this business, because of all the different things that I can do for my clients, I called John. I'm like, how can we get this? And a client of mine sitting right there made the best story. Most people didn't know what I do. When you say marketing specialist, they're like, well, you know, what is that? John took what I did and created what that video is up there along with some others, so all of you can know exactly what it was I'm doing for my clients, which I thought was huge and has been a huge benefit to my business. So,
All right, well, thank you very much, Lisa. All right, now we're going to open it up to the audience. Do you guys have some questions? Come on up. Please introduce yourself first.
Oh, you got it, sorry.
No?
I'm Austin Duke. You're from Fayetteville, Sisto. This is when I got a question for Dr. Barbera. I'm a huge fan of the psychology behind marketing, something as well designed as removing that play button and how that will suck you into a video I never intended to watch. What are some of your favorite examples of well-engineered marketing, media, websites, or campaign? What's something that you can think of that someone's doing right?
That's a great question. So the most persuasive, influential marketing campaigns or designs that come to mind are one, casinos, because you don't have access to the outside, the doors, clocks, auction. The environment is designed to keep you engaged in spending money. Timeshare sales situations where your back's facing towards the door and you can't see it, so you don't have an easy way out, you're kind of trapped in there. Those are very persuasive environments, but you have an adverse experience once you leave. Like, oh, did I really have a good time at the casino? Did I really want to buy that timeshare? So you have regrets. So the experience has a significant downside, although the sales portion of at the time sounded really good or was effective. Let's put it this way. You are driving down the street, like, oh, I really need to get fuel for my car. And you see a sign that says $1.99 for gas. Woo! Slam on those brakes, pull into that fuel station, and you start fueling up. $1.99. All right, got cheap gas. This is going to be awesome. So you start filling up, and then you finish filling up. You put the pump back into the machine, and then the little screen says, "See cashier for receipt." Ooh, I heard some audio reactions just now. It's painful when, as the consumers don't want to walk 40 feet to go get a receipt. That changes the whole experience. So you're excited about the price. You were not so happy about having to walk 40 feet. And yet you have those two emotional responses when you've never actually used the product yet. That answer your question?
A little bit. Is there a company you can think of or a media platform who's doing it really well? And just briefly why? What makes it so good?
Can I answer that one?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask you all a question. What company is Mayhem? Allstate. Does everybody know? Okay, so like I hardly watch TV at all, but it seems like whenever I do, there's a Mayhem commercial on there. And you know what? I think they do a fabulous job of telling that story of what you're going through when you have an insurance issue, and they're there to support. So I really like things like that where the name recognition is really strong. Like most of you knew who I was talking about. So you can't say that was a bad choice on their advertising agency's part. I think television is very powerful, so the question then becomes, okay, for smaller businesses who can't afford national TV primetime spots, how do you get that same kind of name brand recognition out there? And you'll probably hear more about that as we go. Does that help?
Yeah.
My name is Denny Gore. I'm with Diversified Logistics Solutions, and I have a very specific problem open to anybody.
Ooh.
So just 20 seconds or less, I teach very specialized logistics education to special operations within DoD. That's the background. So, how do I expand my marketing to effectively reach both my current target market, they already have buy-in, fully invested, and their overlords / decision makers, the people that actually sign the checks. So, both parties, logistics and operations respectively, they both have their own personalities, they both have their own language, and they both have their own decision criteria.
Good question.
I think all of us
You came
have.
to the right place.
I'll start us off. Since you have multiple target audiences, your messages need to be crafted for each target audience. So you can't have one marketing campaign that targets consumer A and one message, and the same message targets consumer B. It has to be two separate messages because the way that consumer A engages with your brand or perceives your brand is going to be significantly different than consumer B. If consumer B is your decision maker, what are their fears? What are their wants? What are their challenges? What do they want as an outcome? And then the messaging for A, what is their fears, challenges, wants, solutions, and outcomes? So that's how I would look at it as well. So I would break it down as small as possible. You have a funnel of decisions and variables. Find the variables that target each individual person you're working with. John, I think you had something as well.
Yeah, no, the two separate messages was the first thing, so you nailed that on the head. And I would take it, I guess, a little further and maybe help one sell to the other. So in other words, if you've got a client who has to go to the decision maker, you're not getting a chance to present that message to the decision maker. So you've really got to simplify it, like Michael said, and make it palatable, make it to where they can literally take that, here's what I was given, here's the sales points on their level, and they can turn around and hand it in whatever form, email, video, whatever, so they can do it. So they don't, because, you know, you can have the best presentation in the world and it can just get slaughtered by the time it gets to this. So you've got to do that work for them. Don't leave it up to them.
Don't play telephone.
Yeah. Give them the message in a package, whatever that package looks like. Like I said, whether it's an email or a little package or whatever, to where they can turn and make that sale to their superiors or whoever it is.
So what I'm hearing you both say is it's not necessarily two different messages, it's layers of messaging. The first person is going to have one set of concerns, whether they like it or not, and if they do, they're going to have to present it to somebody else, and that's going to be the second layer of messaging.
Well, it's kind of like if some of you who are going to come in here today, you know, you might see the benefit, but your boss may not have. And so you had to go to your boss and say, look, I'm going to take this hour for lunch and I'm going to go, and the reason that's going to be profitable is I'm going to learn how to market, I'm going to increase my productivity, whatever that case may be. But you know, you had to take that to your boss. I'm not assuming one or two you might have, I don't know. So it's kind of that situation. You know, it may have been obvious to you. But what I'm saying is don't do that work for them. Because if you leave it up to them, make it easy on them. Make it really easy for them to sell it to you. Like you, Michael, when I've done a seminar with Michael before, and on that, he gave reasons why the employee should go to the seminar. You know what I'm talking about, Michael? Maybe say it a little better.
Let's use this example. Let's say all of us here got together and we created this amazing new car seat for babies. This car seat didn't require yoga and stretching to get it into the car. One snap and it's done. Right? Sounds like an awesome product. Now we have to sell this car seat. So who are we going to sell it to?
Moms first.
That's the most common answer is moms. But the law states that you cannot leave the hospital without already owning the car seat. So now, who is the target audience?
Dad.
Expecting mothers or dads. So we're looking at a timeline. We're backing it up a little bit. We're going in reverse. So now, in a traditional North American family, when you have a male and a female, who is the primary decision maker for the safety of the child?
Mother.
The mother. Who is the primary decision maker for the financial decisions? There's arguments here. Who makes the financial decision?
The breadwinner.
The breadwinner. So in that scenario, you have one product, one household, two decision makers.
Right.
To answer your question? Awesome.
And I'll just add real quick, I know we're running out of time here, but the other thing too, to take that all a step further, is I think it's really important to understand who your target audience is and when the best time is to reach them. And how the best way is to reach them. Like, are they getting emails at a specific time every single day? You want to make sure your email gets to them then. So, you know, the who, what, where, when, why all comes into play.
Hi, Liz Gorley from Impact Wesleyan Business Society. I got a question about experiential packaging, okay? So in any product that you have, you're going to have packaging, whether it's virtual, digital, or whether it's physically a packaging. But it really plays an essential role in selling your product. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you, what are some maybe like 3 key concepts that you play into how you package your product? Whether it be a service, whether it be an actual product, or whether it be something virtual. A good example is Nike. They create an experience with their packaging, particularly in their shoe department, right? They have different kinds of boxes, they have different colors, and sometimes they even include a story about that specific pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. So if y'all could talk about that, that'd be great.
I did not plan that question when I happened to bring this today. Just saying. For me, being the type of business that I do, because I have hands-on, like from packaging all the way up to promo. But when I want to get my name out there too, let's just say I'm meeting with Mike McKinney here and we're possibly a chance for a new client. I'm not there to sell you. I'm there to help you with the service and what he may need. But I want to leave him something behind that every time he touches it, feels it, uses it, it's going to be, oh, well, there's Lisa again. Oh, well, you know, maybe I'll call her back. But like this right here, this is a great tool because when my clients open this up, I'll just take a few of these out of here. That's not what they're going to get. When they open this up, these are just little things. This is what they're going to get.
Let's just take out some of the things in the box.
It's
okay.
Really cool, and I threw them in here because I actually forgot I threw them in there because these are really cool. But this is what they get. I mean, for me, when I leave there, this is what they're going to get to keep with them. So they have a notepad. They also have sticky notes and a smaller notepad, but also a pen. So every time they use this little product, guess who? And it doesn't have my name on it. It just has my branding. So every time he uses it, he remembers me. And it's gonna, you know, that's how I like to give little things to my potential clients and sometimes even my clients that I'll just go and meet them and bring them some good little goodies to leave behind. Like for instance, these nice little pens. You think they're just pens, one's a highlighter, one's a pen, but the cool thing about these little things is they actually have tabs in them. So if you ever somewhere, you know, just to have on hand in your meetings, these I thought were really cool, just to showcase. But things like that for me, leaving something in their hands that they will remember me when I'm done, along with video and emails. That thing.
I'm going to try to answer from a different perspective here. So, first of all, if you're doing any kind of packaging design, this is again where digging down, researching, and understanding where you're going to be selling it is super important. Because even though you may, like I did packaging years ago for W.L. Gore & Company for their clean stream filters, which go into their shop vacs. So the first question is, okay, where is Lowe's going to put that packaging? And unless you know where it's going to be, if it's going to be middle shelf, right in front of your face, easy, then your sell might be a little bit different than if it's stuck in the very bottom somewhere else. So I think talking with who you think your distributor is going to be is really important. As far as it becoming an interactive thing, you know, back in years ago when QR codes came out, that was a great way to have people be able to get more information about what your item would do. So that's an interaction that you could get them to go in. In today's digital society, there are so many awesome, neat things to do, but color is really important. What's going to attract someone? As Michael was talking earlier, why did you pick that FedEx package that was sitting on your table with 10 other things? Color plays a huge role in that. So again, packaging, how the color works is really important. So there's so many different aspects to packaging. That's a whole different creature, really.
Building on the harmonica from John, let's play fill in the blank. You buy your child all these amazing Christmas gifts, and what do they play with?
The box.
The box,
Absolutely.
Yep. So think about when you buy that cell phone brand new, and you're like, oh, this is amazing, got an awesome cell phone, and it has a little piece of film that plastic that protects the screen.
You don't want to take it off.
How would you feel if someone else took that off for you?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Fighting words.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why I hire the professionals. So now we're going to go back to one last round of questions. We're going to start with Michael again. Where's the disconnect between the marketer and the consumer?
It's right here in the box. That's the so yes, we design things because they appease us. It's like, oh, that looks really cool to me, but we're not actually testing it with the consumer. So say, for example, you go to your any website and you see that button, like, oh, let me click that. And you click it, nothing happens. You click it again. And we've all been in that scenario, like, do something, because it looks like a button, but you keep clicking it. That's called rage clicking. How many times are your customers rage clicking on your website because they think it's going to do something, but it actually doesn't? Test everything before you do it. Even when we started to take the clickers, we tested the clickers with a joke before we actually got to the good content. Test everything.
That's good. A little secret note there. I got it. I'm taking notes, Michael. I'm learning from you. All right, so next question is Donna. Why is branding such as logo, tagline, mission statement, graphic standards, and a website so important?
Okay, so your logo is your foundation for your business, whether it's a service, a product, or whatever. Your logo is what's out there that everybody's seeing, and you need that to convey a message as to what type of business that you are, the quality of your business, why it's something that your customer may want to have. But the important thing about a logo is If you're at the beginning and you're trying to design one, my recommendation is don't do trendy because it's going to go out of style really fast. You want something that's going to be strong, classic, stay there for a long time. As time goes on, you can make minor modifications to it as it goes. So I'm going to go back to what Lisa said, if you all remember. What is the world's today leading branded logo that people know?
Coca-Cola.
Shh. Did you know that? Who said Coca-Cola over here? It's Coca-Cola. Can you put that screen up? Awesome. Awesome. Coca-Cola it is.
Yeah, that was my business partner shouting out from the back. He knew the answer.
Folks, right? This is sort of back in the old days, old time look. This screen up here will give you a really good idea. So Coca-Cola started over 130 years ago, and you can see how it's progressed. They've made minor changes until what? 1985. Anybody know why they made that huge change in 1985?
New Coke.
No.
Why did they do New Coke?
Pepsi.
Pepsi was like beating them out, and Coke was like, oh my gosh, we gotta do something. So they went and changed their formulation, and they said, okay, we're gonna make a whole new look. So they did New Coke. After 2 years, it was a dismal failure. Their market share was going even lower. So they went back to the same old classic. So I just wanted to show this because I think this is a really good example of how you can update your logo, make it more current, but at the same time it still has that brand recognition. And that's the important thing about your logo and branding. Recognition builds trust, builds loyalty, and you want people to keep coming back to you.
All right, thank you, Donna.
Good job, Scott. Sodas up to the crowd. You're not getting those back.
I heard him say thank you, though. He was grateful.
You have to ask if he wants to share.
All right, the next question is for Lisa. Lisa, why is it better to partner with a professional branding specialist rather than doing it myself?
Well, first off, if you're doing it yourself, I want you to really sit back and think about how much time you are spending, or you have an employee spending, looking up, researching, trying to find what you're wanting, what's going to work best for the what avenue you're trying to get it out to. When you partner with somebody who has that expertise, they have all the knowledge. They have all the first-hand connections with every vendor. They have avenues that you wouldn't even know about. They get first-hand knowledge of the new things coming out on the market before anybody else or before it even hits. They know when things are going to be discontinued. So if you have a product that you no longer, or that you feel like you want to continue to use, guess what? It's now being taken off the list. So now we got to go back and find something new. That's where partnering with somebody does all of that work for you. You sit back, you just send an email saying, hey, Lisa, we're looking, or whoever you're working with, we're looking for this. Can you help us with that? Well, that's when that person goes and does all the legwork for you. You freed up your time, you freed up your employees' time to now go focus on things that are more important for your business. I am going to tell a quick story. About 6 months ago, more like 7 now, anybody ever purchased thumb drives? Branded thumb drives? Okay. Well, I bet you most of you didn't know about 7 months ago, those thumb drives that are being sold were actually bad. So they were not good. The current ones that were going out, they had a huge problem with them coming in from overseas. But we got firsthand knowledge with emails updating us, do not sell these to your clients because they are no good. We will update you when to proceed for moving forward with these. That was huge benefit to my clients who, interesting enough, about 3 days later, get a phone call of a client who wants to do personalized thumb drives. No, you don't. We're going to hold off on this. Let's move to the next product on your list until we get confirmation that this product is good. So that's the kind of thing that working with somebody who has that knowledge really can benefit your business. So you're not wasting time and you're not wasting money on something that's not going to be any good.
So what's the highest and best use of your time, effort, and energy in your company? Thank you, Lisa. All right, next one. Diane, you ready?
I am.
All right. Why can't I write copy for my website myself?
So to dovetail on what Lisa just said, if you have the time, go for it. And I would also say that you know your product or service best, so why not? And you're passionate about it, and you have all the facts.
Diane, you're making my case. I could do it myself.
However, to the points I made earlier, you may struggle with being concise, speaking directly to the audience you need to speak to, and the storyteller's have a gift for injecting the emotion. So I do recommend, you could certainly draft your copy, but at the end of the day, you're going to want an editor, copywriter, to edit it and bring it to that concise and find the best words to tell your story.
And I'd like to just add on to that too. I think it's really important, we talked about it earlier, when you're writing copy about something that you are so passionate about, you tend to forget who your audience is. You may know the words, you may know the legalese, but it's got to be dumbed down. I always like to say, when I advertise to people, I try to do it at a kindergarten level. That's a hard thing to do when you're writing it yourself, when you're passionate about it and you know it. So having a copywriter do it for you, they're going to dig and be able to explain what you know at that lower level for your consumer.
That's a really good point. Have you ever tried to follow an instruction manual that was written by somebody who knows the product?
Oh, forget it.
And not step by step? Wait a minute, it says click this button, but where's the button?
Yeah, exactly.
So telling your story and having the professionals who actually know how to craft the story
Right.
when that's not in your necessarily expertise. Okay,
And I
so-
will add to that because, I mean, I am one of the people who has used Diane. And she's amazing at what she does. I'm good at what I do. But she could take my good and turn it great in the words that she puts it out there for me and how I'm promoting my business out there to my potential clients. So.
All right, thank you, Lisa. All right, so this next question actually gets to one of the reasons we're here today, and the challenge that I saw is we are all facing as business owners. All right, John, you get the big one. You ready?
All right.
All right. My product is for everyone. So how do I focus on just one single group?
So if you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. And that's not my saying, that's just kind of a saying in general. You've really got to know who your market is. And I don't know if this is the best story or not, but Bruce Lee, when he came to America, he wanted to open up his own martial arts schools. And all the martial arts schools at the time were focused on traditional martial artists. And it had to be done a very specific way, and it had to be taught to only certain people. So Asians could only teach Asians, white people could only teach white people. It's just the way it was. And so Bruce Lee was like, no, I don't want to do that. So he went to this famous martial arts convention out in California, and he asked for a few moments, and he went up and he said, I want to challenge one of the best martial arts out there. You know, do I have a volunteer? So of course, one of these traditionalist guys raised his hand, just itching for the challenge to get there. So he got out there and stood in front of Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee stood 6 feet away from him. And he said, and he told him what he was going to do. I'm going to reach out, I'm going to tap you on the forehead, and you just try to stop me. And so the guy's like, I got this, you know, I'm going to be able to, you're telling me what you're going to do, I'm going to be able to do it. So Bruce Lee, lightning fast, reached out, thumped him on the forehead, and just embarrassed him in front of everybody. The reason I bring this up is, was this traditional martial artist Bruce Lee's audience? Was that his customer? No, because he just embarrassed the crap out of him, right? But all these people out in the audience who wanted to move away from that traditional style, who wanted someone to write, he just gained them as customers. And so that was how smart he was. He knew who his audience was. It wasn't these traditional guys. He was never going to change their minds, is what I'm trying to say. And that's, when I look at sales, I don't necessarily want to change people's minds. I want to find people who already want to tell a story, who have that kind of passion. And I just want to convince them that I'm the guy to help them do that. And so that's my philosophy when it comes to finding your customer. Try to find those people that already really want you, that already want to be in your tribe, and then try to figure out who they are. And it takes some dedication, it takes some work. You've got to look at the data, say who's buying my product, who really enjoys my product, and then figure out who that was, and then focus on those people. Don't try to sell to everybody.
Yeah. Thank you very much, John. So we've kept you captive for about an hour now, so I just have a couple more thank yous to do. I do want to thank my business partner standing over there in the back. Wave for everybody. All right, that's Robbie Spivey. We met randomly, and he's been very, very patient as I...
Hold me on course.
We did meet on the golf course. He's been very patient as we create these events, and we try to educate the people we work with and work for about services that not only we offer, but everybody offers. So thanks, Robbie, appreciate it. I also want to give a shout out to Michael Barbera and his team who are here recording this for a live podcast. I'm going to do something that he told me not to do. So hashtag, yes, that's the old person putting two fingers on top of the other fingers. Yeah, hashtag ACC Marketing. Is that right? ACC Marketing to find this on social media later. And thank you, lastly, but definitely not least, well, okay, two more people to thank. Thank you, everybody on the panel, for giving your time and expertise. Really appreciate it. And thank you, business owners and professionals. Thank you so much for coming, because without you, this would be an empty room. So thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for listening to Clicksuasion. Subscribe to the podcast, read our research, and get in touch with us at clicksuasion.com. You can also find us on Twitter with the handle @Clicksuasion.